Information, please. Presented each week at this time by Canada Dry, famous the world over for its fine beverages. Wake up, America. Time to stump the experts and treat yourself to a cool, refreshing glass of ginger ale. Every week at this time, Canada Dry presents Information, Please. All we want is questions, questions, questions. All we give is answers, answers. Often correct ones, too. Here's how it's done. You may submit from 1 to 3 original questions. For every question our quartet fails to answer, the sender gets $10 with the compliments of Canada Dry. For every question we use, whether or not it's answered correctly, the sender gets $5. So you can make $15 if our experts miss out, which they occasionally do. Our editorial staff may reword your question a trifle. Don't worry about it. Whenever there is a duplication of questions, Information Please uses the one that was submitted first. All questions become the property of Information Please and should be addressed to Canada Dry, 1 Pershing Square, New York City. And now may I present our master of ceremonies, Mr. Clifton Fadiman, literary critic of the New Yorker magazine. Mr. Fadiman.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, well, we go as we please on this program. It's uninhibited, unrehearsed, uncabined, uncribbed, unconfined. The member of the board who feels the urge to answer a question raises his hand. And if the question is muffed, Canada Dry cheerfully pays out $10 to the sender, plus $5 for the use of the question itself. Tonight, our board of experts consists of the following. The inimitable walking and talking encyclopedia, John Kieran. The equally inimitable creator of the conning tower, the man with a long memory and the deep voice, Franklin P. Adams. The famous journalist, John Gunther, whose brilliant book, Inside Asia, has just been published, and who leaves tomorrow on a trip to Europe to check up on that continent. And finally, what's this? Can I believe my eyes? Why, it's none other than that surrealist painter. Yes, she paints. And authority on, well, anyway, welcome to our little city, Gracie Allen. Gracie, by the way, appears by courtesy of Chesterfield, known hereafter to all information pleasers as the Canada Dry of cigarettes. Now, if, gentlemen, and Gracie, you are ready, we will start with a question from Elizabeth Nicholson of Tacoma, Washington. Several well-known characters in song or story or legend flew without benefit of modern inventions. Gracie, you know what a modern invention is, like an airplane, sort of.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I know you know it. Now, I want you to name 5 of them. For example, Pegasus, the famous horse, would be one. But don't name that, Gracie. Don't name that. I gave you that.
Oh.
All right. Mr. Adams, suppose you start us off.
Darius Green.
Wasn't that a flying machine that he actually used?
Yes.
Well, I don't want a modern invention like flying machine. You see? Gracie?
The witch, you know, at Halloween.
Yeah, what'd she fly on, Gracie?
A broom.
Yeah, that's right. That's very good. A broom.
Am I right?
You bet it's right.
Icarus.
You can take a vacation. Mr. Gunther.
Icarus.
Icarus, yes. That's 2. Let's have 3 more. Gracie, got nothing?
Santa Claus?
Yeah, Santa Claus. Sure. Santa Claus? Pretty good. You're feeling good, Gracie, aren't you?
Wish
All
my
right,
brother was here.
Mr. Kieran?
Well, Daedalus flew with Icarus, but we'll pass that up. How about Phaeton, who borrowed Apollo's car and fell down through the heavens?
Yeah, that's right. What happened to him?
He was burned up.
Burned up to a cinder. That's right. That gives us 4. I ought to get 1 more, I think. Mr. Adams.
Large portion of Clusium.
Say, there's a fine classical... large portion of Clusium. What did he fly on, Mr. Adams?
Sat in his ivory car.
And he flew? Did he fly?
Flew around the track in a chariot.
Flew around the track. But he didn't fly up in the air, did he?
No.
No, but I mean a man who flew all the way up in the air. Gracie?
I know another one.
I bet you do.
You know he had that carpet and he went?
Yeah, who was that? That carpet man.
Don't tell me.
No, I wouldn't say a word. I wouldn't say a word, Gracie. Just let me get you nervous, Gracie. That's all.
No, I know it. Now, wait
I
a
know
minute.
you know it. Carpet, rug, flying carpet, magic carpet.
Alabama.
Oh, that's Alibaba and his magic carpet. That's 5, of which Miss Allen got 2 out of the 5. That's pretty good. All right. 3 out of the 5. I beg your pardon. The next question from C. Horn of Newark, New Jersey. This has to do with recent news events. What recent news event is suggested by each of the following? There are 3, and I'm going to ask you to get 2 of them. If I say the phrase silk underwear, what does that recall to the minds of those of you who have read the newspapers recently? Silk underwear. Gracie?
Macy's basement?
Very nice plug for Macy's basement. It's not exactly a recent news event, but otherwise a very intelligent remark, Gracie. Mr. Gunther.
A rather far-fetchedly, boycott of Japanese goods.
Yes.
Which has been in the news in connection with the 10-cent thing.
That might do, but I think there's something rather more specific. Recently, I think just a couple of days ago, some prisoners in Kansas revolted because the warden put a stop to their buying silk underwear in the prison commissary. Doesn't he mean that, warden? That's right. Now, that you got wrong, I'm sorry to say, though, Mr. Gunther, that was undoubtedly an approximate answer. Now, see if you can get the next two. A banquet in Nanking. A banquet in... Mr. Gunther.
Oh, that's where a group of Chinese puppets working for the Japanese were poisoned by loyal Chinese.
You happen to... You know that?
Yes.
I see.
I think I know it.
What happened to them? Were they killed?
They didn't die because after 2 minutes swallowing, they decided that what they were eating didn't taste very good, and they stopped eating.
I see. But that's what comes of trying to swallow China, no doubt, Mr. Gunther. All right, that's correct. An ocean liner with only 40 passengers. An ocean liner with only 40 passengers.
I know an ocean liner with 900.
Yes, I know that one, too, but I'm going to bargain you down to 40 this evening. Mr. Adams.
Mauritania.
What is the... how did it happen to have only 40 passengers?
I don't know. Maybe it's coming over here with only 40 passengers.
That's a fine guess. It's totally wrong, Mr. Adams. Totally wrong. Sorry.
It's the only boat I've heard of recently.
No, the answer is, Mr. Kieran, did you
How
have
about the ship taking the king and queen back to England?
That's quite right. Why didn't you say that before Mr. Adams
Never thought
gave
of
us
it.
his little bit of information? I think we'll call that
The
right.
Empress of Britain.
The Empress of Britain. That's right, Mr. Adams. You knew it all along. All right, we did get 2 out of 3 on that. Now, the next question is all about famous warnings. It comes from Daisy Stevenson of Denver, Colorado. Famous warnings. Who was warned against alpine climbing? Who was warned against alpine climbing? Mr. Kieran.
The youth who bore amid snow and ice the banner with the strange device, Excelsior. Henry Wadsworth Longfellow.
Do you remember the warning, Mr. Kieran?
Oh, it's a very sad warning. I'd hate to spoil the evening by reciting it.
You couldn't spoil the evening
The
for me,
night
Mr.
falls
Kieran.
thick and fast, and
Try
it's
not to
snowing and
pass.
all that sort of
That's
thing.
right, that's right. Kieran, try not to pass, the old man said. Dark lowers the tempest overhead, and so forth. That's one warning correctly got. Who was warned against widows? Who was warned against widows? Mr. Kieran.
In Pickwick papers, the old gent that drove the coach
Yeah, what's his
warned
name?
Mr. Pickwick against bidders.
No, he didn't warn Mr. Pickwick.
He warned his son.
Yes,
That's
Tony Weller.
Sam Evil.
Sam Weller was warned by his father, Tony. Do you remember the actual words in which he warned him against Mr. Adams?
Beware of bidders.
It's approximately that. Be very careful of bidders all your life, said the elder Weller to the younger Weller. At this point, I might recall one of your classic remarks about widows, Mr. Adams. May I recall it?
I'd love to have you. What was it?
A little widow is a dangerous thing.
Oh, I didn't say that.
Isn't that yours?
I quoted it.
Oh, but you didn't put the quotes in when you said it on
Yes,
one of the
I did.
programs some time ago, did you? I've always thought it was yours, Mr. Adams. Who was warned against a particular day of the month? Mr. Kieran.
Julius Caesar, beware of the Ides of March.
Yes, and what day of the month is the Ides of March?
Well, there's a Latin professor in the audience here, and we have to be very careful about this.
I'm not
the
worried about
calendar
you,
has
Mr.
been changed. The Ides now are popularly supposed to be the 15th of the month, but I don't believe they were that in Latin days.
Yes, they were.
I think they were. Mr. Adams is also a classical student. If he says
He
they
can
were,
argue
knows.
with the Latin professor after this is over.
March 15th, the Ides
In March,
of March.
July, October, May, the Ides are on the 15th day.
That sounds like English to me. We're talking about Latin.
What a memory they both have. Of course, March 15th is also the day on which luckier persons pay their income tax, so that's a warning for a great many of them. That's 3 warnings out of 3. Who was warned against staying out too late? Who was warned against staying out too late? Gracie, do you have an answer?
Who wasn't?
Wait a minute.
Don't let Mr. Adams intimidate you, Gracie.
Rip Van Winkle?
Rip Van Winkle. Who was
No.
Gracie, you got me all confused.
Oh, I know.
Oh, I know you.
Cinderella.
Oh, that's right. Cinderella. That's right. That's 4 warnings out of 4. Gracie, when are you going to step back into character and get some of these wrong, anyway? The next question from S. Rogers of Chicago, Illinois. Very serious question about our relations with the Far East. What have each of the following Americans, there are 4 of them, contributed to our economic and political relations with the Far East? The first is Matthew C. Perry. Mr. Gunther?
He was the commodore of the American ship which opened Japan after it had been closed to the world for 240-odd years.
Yeah, and he thereby precipitated considerable history.
He opened a good deal.
He opened up a good deal, yes. John Hay. John Hay.
He enunciated the open
Gunther?
door policy.
What does that mean exactly?
It means freedom of opportunity for foreigners of all nations to trade in undeveloped territories like China.
Yes, and is the open door still open, Mr.
The
Gunther?
Japanese have closed it, as a friend of mine said, so that you can't even see a chink in it. In quotes, that is.
Yes, I know. We'll ascribe that to somebody else. Charles E. Hughes. Charles E. Hughes. Mr. Gunther again.
Well, he was the American Secretary of State during the Washington Conference, which resulted in the Nine-Power Treaty.
What does that mean? What are the
That was
Nine-Power
an
Treaty?
attempt to guarantee the territorial integrity of China on the part of all the interested powers.
Yes.
Japan signed it, but hasn't respected it altogether.
No, not entirely. Not entirely. And Henry L. Stimson, Mr. Gunther again.
The doctrine of non-recognition. In 1932, the Japanese took Manchukuo. Mr. Stimson decided that he would not recognize that seizure was legal, and we still hold to the principle that we do not accept seizures of territory by means that contravene the Kellogg Pact.
Well, actually, technically, Manchukuo hasn't been seized, has it, by Japan?
They use strange language out there. They call it an incident when it's a war, and they call it a pacification operation when, when it's a campaign.
Of course, it's not part of Japan, Manchukuo, is it?
It's a puppet state under Japanese domination.
Yes. But actually, technically, it hasn't been annexed at all.
No, the Japanese simply took it.
No. Now, Gracie, have you been listening to this?
Yes, I have.
Oh, all right. Now, we have no more questions like that.
He's
Gracie.
very good,
He
too.
is, isn't he? Good. Very good. He's very good.
Thank you, madame.
He writes great big books, Gracie.
Does he?
Yeah, he's quite a man. The next question from Dorothy B. Hussey of Maywood, Illinois, has to do about babies.
Oh.
Babies. You like that, Gracie? Gracie's getting right into the spirit of this one. I'm going to ask you to quote 3 lines of poetry about babies, 3 separate lines of poetry. Gracie, do you know a line of poetry
A
about
song like, maybe?
Oh, a song like
I
maybe?
know all the songs.
That's right, you do know songs. You want to sing it for us?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Oh, this is
I thought I'd
kind
have
of
to
silly. Rock-a-bye, baby, on the treetop when the wind blows. That's one.
Yeah, that's very good.
I know another one.
Do you?
Yes, sir, that's my baby, no,
That's 2. Could you sing us a third? Mr. Adams.
You sing, too.
Baby's boat's the silver moon.
Yeah, that's good, yeah.
Yeah, you like that, Gracie. Eh? Mr. Adams is very good in these popular songs, too. Only his memory reaches further back than yours.
Pretty Baby.
Beg pardon?
There was a song called Pretty Baby.
How does it go?
I don't remember.
Pretty baby, da-da-da-da, pretty baby.
Pretty baby.
I can't keep them quiet. I can't keep that duet quiet.
Won't George be proud of me, though?
George is very proud of you, I'm sure. Mr. Kieran, what do you have to say?
Have you got them all?
That gives us 3. Want to give us another one about babies? Mr. Kieran's awfully paternal.
Well, I know one.
Do you?
Yes.
Well, all right. Sell it to me.
Oh, I know
On
it.
parents' knees, a naked newborn child, thou wepst while all around thee smiled. So live that sinking to thy last long sleep, thou then mayest smile while all around thee weep. But by by the name of Jones from the Sanskrit of Kalidasa.
Oh, goodness gracious.
I like ours better, don't you?
Yeah.
I know another one.
Oh, wait a minute.
Baby
I've
Baby
got to digest
shoes,
that one.
baby shoes.
Yes, that's very good. Now, Mr. Kieran, you have brought this program up to an impossibly high level. I don't know how I'm going to get it down
I'll
again.
let it down.
Oh. Suppose we stop there for a moment. Let's see now. We have no stumps at all. And while our experts are fanning their red faces, Mr. Milton Cross has just a few words to say. I'll get him on a little later.
Thank you, Mr. Fadiman. The other day, a friend in the travel business sent me a large assortment of attractive folders. Each of these brochures tried to lure me away from information, please, by describing in polished prose so many smart vacation centers. Being ever attentive to duty, I noted mentally that in every one of these famous resorts, the fortunate travelers would probably soon be quenching their summer thirsts with frosty cool glasses of ginger ale. For it actually is smart to drink ginger ale. Smart not only in the sense that it's fashionable, but also that it's a wise way of taking cooling refreshment. Continuing through the travel folders, I had the gratifying thought that the ginger ale most in demand would be Canada Dry. For it was Canada Dry which first popularized pale dry ginger ale. And for many years it has been famous for its sparkle and distinctive flavor, the flavor and bouquet of the choicest Jamaica ginger. So it's smart to drink ginger ale as a refresher, and doubly smart to drink Canada Dry, the champagne of ginger ale.
Thank you, Mr. Cross. Your brief discourse was clocked in exactly 66 seconds. Now, the next question from Irving Nassau of New York City has to do with double talk. I think all of you know what double talk is. For example, the kind of cigar that Mr. Adams does not serve me at his house, but which he expects... That's right, Mr. Adams. That's double talk. Corona. I'll give you another example. A certain kind of bullet.
Dum-dum.
Dum-dum, yes. Why didn't you get that, Gracie? That really is up your alley. Dum-dum. Yes, that's right. Thank you, Mr. Adams. Now, I'm going to ask you to give me double talk on a song. A song. How about it? Mr. Adams.
CCC.
CCC.
Just a Penny Serenade.
Well, isn't that what it's called? Just a Penny Serenade?
Oh, the name, the
It
title
has
of
to
the
be
song?
the title, yes. Double talk in the title itself. Have to get, there are 4 of these. Have to get all of them.
What kind of song? Old song, new song?
Yes, old song, new song, middle-aged song.
As long as it's a song.
Yeah, as long as it's a song, Gracie. That's all. Are you thinking, Gracie?
Oh.
What is that you're doing over there?
I'm thinking like anything. I know a town, Walla Walla.
Gee, I wish I had.
Is that a town?
You don't know Baden-Baden, though, do you?
Yeah.
Hip, hip. Hooray.
Oh, no, I don't think
Thank you, Mr. Gunther, but we've got to get a song. I'll give it to you. Boola Boola. How about that? College
Okay.
song?
That's very good, Mr.
That's good, isn't it?
I didn't think you knew it.
No.
Of course, I have these things down on a card, Gracie. I don't want you to get any false ideas of me. Any more than I want to get any false ideas of you, Gracie. Now, a cracker. Cracker in double talk. Famous cracker. Not so good on double talk. Zuzu. Ever hear of Zuzu? Oh, that's a snap. You ought to have gotten that one.
Oh.
Zuzu. An insect.
Tsetse.
Okay, Mr. Gunther, that's right. Tsetse. What does it do to you?
It gives you sleeping sickness if
Yeah.
you're unlucky.
Yes, that's right. That's one right. A school of art and literature in double talk. Mr. Kieran?
Dada.
Dada, what is it?
Oh, baby talk.
You mean walk to Dada?
Mr. Kieran, you tell Gracie what Dada really is.
I've looked at it for years, and I don't know.
I want you to give Gracie something to take home with her. What is Dada? Give us a simple explanation of it.
Well, I think they take all the colors on a palette and throw them with a buckshot or some kind of thing. Throw them just down there and then think up a title and hang it upside down. That's Dada, isn't it?
Gracie, isn't that the sort of thing you do in your spare time?
No.
No? What sort of paintings do you make?
Oh, did you see that? Oh, that is
No,
really
I
good.
didn't. Don't
They're
take them out
very
of the
good.
No,
They really were.
they're not like what Mr. Kieran
No,
said, Dada. No,
no.
I'm sure they're not. School of Art and Literature is Dada. We only got 2 out of 4 on that. That's going to cost Canada Dry $10. Plus $5
I know the
for
answer
the
to that one.
What one?
Canada Dry won't like it.
You can say it. Now, something you want to say, Grace?
No.
No? All right. The next question from W.W. Grieve of Perry, New York. Mr. Grieve asks the following. Can you name any Republicans who have served 2 full terms as president since the Civil War? You have to think on this one. Just run through the presidents, gentlemen, and Gracie. Well, Washington, Gracie, came before the Civil War.
Oh.
Don't let me get you down, Gracie.
No, I won't.
No.
I'll get him.
It's a tough one. I'll give you another 5 seconds. Mr. Adams, did
I
you
don't
have...
think there were any.
I'm sorry. There was only one.
General Grant?
Yes, that's right, but I'm afraid that I supplied the answer. Or rather, that Mr. Adams supplied the wrong answer. That's quite right, Mr. Gunther. Really ought to give you credit. Ulysses S. Grant was the only one who was president from 1869 to 1877. If you go through all the other presidents, which probably Gracie has been doing in her head during the last 30 seconds, you won't find any Republican who has served 2 terms. Well, Mr. Grieve is going to get $10 owing to the impetuosity.
Thanks to me.
Of Franklin P. Adams, that's right. G. Moss of this city sends in an interesting question about the movies. Answer each of the following questions with the title of a current movie. For example, if I said, who is Bad Farewell? What would the answer be in terms of the title of a current movie? Who is Bad Farewell?
Goodbye, Mr. Chips.
Goodbye, Mr. Chips, Mr. Gunther. Very good. All right, that is just an example. Now we have 4. What is
Doesn't that
4
count?
to get? Yes, that was just to give us the idea. See? What is Tarzan's discovery? Gracie, do you know that one?
Here comes the sun? No. I found something about a sun.
Yeah.
I found a sun.
Yeah. Let's have another sentence. The way these things pour out of your mouth, Gracie, is a caution. Go ahead.
He finds the sun.
Yeah, who does?
Tarzan.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Tarzan finds the sun. What's the weather across the Atlantic? Title of a movie which would answer that question.
Lost Horizon.
You stick to that, do you, Mr. Gunther? Not quite apt enough, I don't think.
It's played on Broadway, didn't it, that picture?
Well, no.
wait a minute. I'm thinking
No.
about-
Don't pump me, Gracie. Don't pump
Well, you
me.
could just say yes. Something about clouds over Europe.
Sure, it is Clouds Over Europe. It is Clouds Over Europe.
Oh, see?
Never heard of it.
What flower is obtainable south of Fifth Avenue? What flower is obtainable south? Mr. Gunther.
A Rose of Washington Square.
Very good. You've been to the movies lately, Mr. Gunther.
Not for 3 months.
Well, these are current pictures. What do you get them by?
I read the papers.
Fourth and last, where can you find Bing Crosby and Joan Blondell? No cracks, Gracie.
Well, I know.
Do you know?
Yes. Is it west side of heaven, east side of heaven?
East side of heaven, yes. East side's more fashionable. East side of heaven, that's right. That's very good, may I say. That's very good. Thought I'd catch him on that. The next question from N. Paulson of Atlanta, Georgia, has to do with old-time songs. I'm going to ask you to complete the following lyrics from these old-time songs. You can sing them if you care to. Later on, we'll take a Gallup poll of our listeners and see whether they cared for it. The first is, I won't sing it. All at once, he sent me round a note. Here's the very note. This is what he wrote, Mr. Kieran.
Can't come today. That's left me at the church.
Waiting at the church.
Waiting at the church, that's right. Well, Mr. Kieran,
Sent
Mr.
me
Adams
around a
together,
note.
got it.
This is what he wrote.
I
Can't come today.
Can't get away.
Can't get away to marry you today. My wife won't let me.
That's right, Mr. Kieran. One right. Now, I could hear the dull buzz of the bee in the blossoms as you said to me. How does it go on? Mr. Adams.
Da-da-da-da-da-dum, da-da-da-da-da-da, in the shade of the old apple tree.
I knew that one, too.
You knew that too, Gracie, eh? Mr. Adams, you want to thank Gracie for helping you out on the vocal.
I think the thanks are on the other foot.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Adams.
Uncross your feet,
Very
Gracie.
good,
The thanks are on the other foot. The next one, and the last. She's the only girl I loved with a face like a horse and buggy, leaning up against the lake. Sounds as if Gracie had written it
Oh,
herself.
fireman, save my child.
That's right. That's right. Gosh, 3 out of 3. Very hard to stump them this evening. The next one from Florence B. Duke of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. This is about a race. If the following birds were flying a race, in what order would they finish? Now, Mr. Kieran, after that woodpecker episode, I'm no fool, you know. I'm not going to argue. If you give me the answer to this question, I'm going to accept it as gospel truth. The following birds were flying a race, in what order would they finish? A crow, a duck hawk, also called a peregrine falcon, I believe.
Falco peregrinus, that's right.
That's all right, Mr. Kieran. And the golden eagle. In what order would they finish?
A crow, a golden eagle, and a duck hawk would be the fastest, I mean. A golden eagle probably would be next, and the crow probably would be the slowest.
That's quite right. Mr. Kieran. Now, that's what I have down here.
No arguments tonight.
No
sir.
arguments tonight. Not a woodpecker in the house. Very good. About how fast could they travel, do you think?
Well, a crow ordinarily flies around from 25 to 30 miles an hour. An
I have
eagle,
60. He's
No,
probably
no,
not very
that's
good.
wrong.
That's wrong.
A duck hawk is one of the fastest known birds we have. That might go 60 or even 80 or more miles on a stoop when it's diving.
Unless it was going as the crow flies, of course.
Yeah.
And
And
it would be slower.
an eagle would go about 35 miles an hour.
You're
So-
awfully conservative. I have 170 to 180 miles.
Oh,
for the
that's
duck
all
hunt.
right.
That's all right.
Where'd you get
I know
that? Where'd you get that out of the Farmer's Almanac?
No, I got that. I got that out of the Bulletin, Essex County Ornithological Club, Volume 12, 1930.
Typographical error.
The whole thing? As for your Golden Eagle, which you say goes only 30 miles an hour, it must be lame, because I have it down here as 120 miles per hour.
Oh, boy.
You don't believe that's
That
possible?
goes with the flying carpet that Gracie had out a little while ago.
Well, you got the answer correct, of course, Mr. Kieran. We may have time for one or two more. This one from Lauren L. Davis of Chatham, New Jersey. How do the following islands figure in international affairs? Guam. How did that figure recently in international affairs? Mr. Gunther.
We decided to fortify it, and then the House of Representatives decided that we shouldn't fortify it, so we haven't. It's one of the islands on the Pan-American route to the Pacific.
Yes. How about Åland, which I'm no doubt mispronouncing?
Oh,
Mr.
it's
Gunther?
in the Baltic, and it was the scene of an old dispute between Finland and Sweden, something that's been dragging on since 1920 or so.
Yes. How did Russia and Germany recently come into the Åland question?
Well, because they're both extremely interested in the future of naval power in the Baltic, and apparently these islands would be an excellent base.
That's the fortification. Enderbury and Canton.
What?
Enderbury
Oh,
and
those
Canton.
are the
Mr.
two
Gunther?
islands on the route between the Pan-American Trans-Pacific route and the projected new route down to New Zealand, and there was some question as to their sovereignty between Great Britain and the United States,
That's
and it was
correct.
amicably adjusted.
3 out of 3. You know that stuff, Mr. Gunther, absolutely cold. That brings our losses up to $20. And as usual, we will hear from Mr. Cross before I tell you about next week's guest.
Earlier in the program, I mentioned it's smart to drink Canada Dry ginger ale. Well, I should add, it's also smart these hot summer days to keep your refrigerator well stocked with sparkling Canada Dry water. For this fine club soda makes your favorite hot weather drink taste better, have more life and sparkle, and retain its sparkle for a good long time. You'll find Canada Dry water is not only an ordinary club soda. It's not an ordinary club soda. It's a sparkling water made by a special formula to ensure perfect blending. So next time you order club soda, be sure to ask for Canada Dry water. And you'll find it served at all leading clubs, restaurants, and hotels.
Thank you. And Gracie Allen. Brilliant, Gracie. Brilliant. And John Gunther. Accept Canada Dry's thanks for joining this evening in our innocent merriment. Now, next week, the reliable Adams-Levant-Kieran combination will be batting them out. And also on deck, as our guest of honor, will be one of the most distinguished experts we've ever had. A man known as literary historian, as an artist in prose, as a great teacher, and as the ex-governor of Connecticut, Wilbur L. Cross. To all you listeners, we say, please send your questions along. If you have a stumper to stump our board of experts, let's have it. There are $5 in it for you if we use your question, and another 10 if we fail to answer it correctly. So you can win 15 in all. Send your letters with questions to Information, please, 1 Pershing Square, New York City.
Among the host of Canada Dry beverages, you are bound to enjoy these summer favorites. Canada Dry Tom Collins Mixer and Canada Dry Lime Ricky, both made with a genuine fruit base and the finest ingredients. No preservatives or artificial flavoring. So for cooling, tall drinks with a lemon flavor, order Canada Dry's Tom Collins Mixer. For a lime flavor, insist on Canada Dry Lime Ricky. The family size is economical, costing only 15 cents. This is Milton Cross saying, good night all.